Hi there, this is Srikanth Dasari. So in this lesson, we are going to introduce ourselves to PHP. So PHP is abbreviated as Hypertext Preprocessor. Okay, so it is a server-side scripting language which is very essential for building dynamic web applications. Okay, so before getting up and running with PHP, so we need to download and install certain tools and software applications to make our life easier when programming with PHP. Okay, so first let me launch the browser here, and Google is our friend. So first we need to have installed in our system this application which is known as Xmpp. So if you open your Google and type Xmpp and hit enter, so you get to this first website, which is apachefriends.org. So if you go to that website, so here you have a one-click installer for all these packages here. Okay, the PHP and so Apache, MySQL, PHP. Okay, so all these things are application stack here. Okay, so we need an Apache web server in order, as we said, that PHP is a server-side scripting language. So we need a server which interprets our PHP code and serves the content in the form of HTML. Okay, so also we need MySQL database since we have said that it's a dynamic web application environment. So we need a database to store the data and retrieve data from the database. Okay, and last we need our scripting language PHP engine itself to read our code and understand our PHP statements. Okay, so all these things, instead of downloading and installing from different websites, so Apache Friends website maintains this one-click installer application stack here. Okay, so it is collectively known as Xmpp. So if you download, if you click on this icon in the down in the bottom here, Xmpp for Windows, so you get you are related to the downloads page, and your download gets automatically started. So if you can download that and install, which is a very straightforward process. Okay, so the another tool which is very essential for developing writing PHP code is Netbeans. So already we are familiar with Netbeans while we are if you are a Java programmer. Okay, it's a world famous IDE which is very comfortable for writing PHP applications. Okay, so if you go to this netbeans.org website, okay, so here you have a big orange button which on clicking it leads to the download page of Netbeans 8.0 IDE, which is the very latest version at the time of this recording. Okay, so here you have different flavors of Netbeans, one for Java Standard Edition, one for Java Enterprise Edition, one for C and C++, another for HTML and PHP, and the last one is for all here. Okay, so I suggest you download this all version here, so which includes each and everything like Java, Java EE, C and C++, and HTML and PHP, JavaScript, and everything. Okay, so I sincerely suggest to download this all version here. So if you click on that, again it leads to the download page, and your download will be started automatically, and you can download it and install in your PC happily. Okay, so which is a very straightforward process. So these two tools are very essential for developing and writing PHP applications. Okay, so after downloading and installing both of them, which I have done already in my system here, so first you need to launch your Xampp. Okay, so you have to start so after installing your Xampp, so you get control panel here like this here. Or else if you don't get, you can go to the start button, and if you browse or else in the search, if you type it Xampp, so you have this icon here, so you can pin it to taskbar, and whatever you wanted you can do it to obtain it in a short form here. So if you start, so first you need to start your Apache web server, and also parallelly MySQL, which is not necessary right now. Also you can do it by clicking the start button here. So both Apache and MySQL server get started and get started here. Okay, so which is very essential to run your PHP applications, however the small it is. Okay, so next let me launch the IDE. So here you know that we are using Netbeans 8.0, which is the latest version by the time of this recording here. Okay, so Netbeans always takes a moment to load. It's a huge piece of software which is very essential and very comfortable for writing and doing PHP programs. So Netbeans got launched here. Okay, so first let me create a new project here. So before writing any PHP programs, first we need to create an environment by creating a project here. Okay, so if you create file, click file new project, it leads to an option. So here we have a variety of categories like HTML, Java, EE, C, C++, everything. Okay, so here our intention is to write develop PHP applications. So let's select the PHP category here and let's select the PHP application. So let us name our project as like so hello world, or let's say so introduction to PHP. Okay, so introduction to PHP. Let's click, and rest of all the options you leave it as default. Okay, so it takes the most recent version of the PHP installed from the server here. Okay, so the character encoding is almost UTF-8 universally, and the project sits in our Xmpp and htdocs folder here. Okay, so the Xmpp, when you install the Xmpp, it creates a folder in your C drive. So this is that respective drive here, and we have a htdocs folder. So where all our PHP applications, whatever we create using the Netbeans, sit under that Xmpp folder there. Okay, so click next. And here is our URL which is going to run in the browser. Just Netbeans is coding us with this respective URL here. Okay, so and all the options after you set your project title, and rest of all will be by default options whatever the Netbeans having. Okay, so we need not change them all the time. Also right now we are at the very beginning stage of learning PHP here. So right now we are not going to include any of this PHP frameworks here. Okay, so nowadays we have a lot of choices of MVC oriented frameworks like CodeIgniter and Laravel and also Zend. So a lot of choices for frameworks here. So also let's keep it. Let's don't select any of these frameworks for right now, since we are introducing just to PHP. So let's click finish here. So the very first instance, Netbeans. So this is the beauty of Netbeans. It creates a project title, and under the source files folder, it creates a index.php file here. Okay, so everything it does automatically, since we are doing this very first lesson in PHP. So let me get rid of everything here. Let us do a handwritten code here. Okay, so if you observe here in your project section, here we have index.php file here. So index.php file. So all the PHP files were with this extension, which is index.php. Okay, so whatever the PHP you want to write, or whatever the code you want to write in PHP, you need to make a file like a .php extension. The .php extension, the name, it might be whatever the name you wanted here. Okay, so here the Netbeans takes the name as index. So since very first file in any project in the web world would be an index file. So which links to all other files in the project here. Okay, so now let me create a small HTML. So our the structure of PHP is going to be in such a way that they are embedded in a HTML file here. Okay, so even though you write .php, even though you name your file as .php, so it can include all the HTML tags inside it, and we embed our PHP code inside the body section of this HTML page here. Okay, so that's the reason I am writing here. So all the basic HTML tags once again. So already Netbeans has done this for us at the very beginning. So wantedly I have removed all those things since we are doing the very beginning lesson in our page here. Okay, so here we have h1. Let's have an h1 tag, and let's say, so welcome to PHP. Okay, and let's have a small, although it's a bad practice to have attributes within our HTML tags here, so for just convenience purpose I am doing it. So if you run this small PHP file, so which has nothing to do with PHP until right now, just we have a small HTML5 template here. Okay, so to make that its HTML file, let's add this doc type also. So let's the browser not get confused. Doc type HTML. Okay, so here we have created a project under the name Introduction to PHP, and we have a just index.php file here. So we haven't included any PHP until now. Let's have a title also. Let's say intro to PHP. Okay, so just we had a plain HTML5 template. So if you run this small HTML document in the browser with the help of this Netbeans IDE, so you can select your browser whatever you wanted here. Let's keep it Chrome by default. Okay, so if you run it, so it renders this page inside the Chrome browser, so which has nothing excited, but just we had an h1 tag here, so it's taking a bit time here. Okay, so it just displays whatever we have written inside our h1 tag here. Okay, so h1 tag we have written nothing but welcome to PHP. Okay, so now to make it this page as our so to embed PHP in our HTML document in a .php file, so inside a HTML document we need to use this special tags here. Okay, so opening less than so opening angle bracket and question mark and PHP. Okay, and then question mark and closing angular bracket here. Okay, so this is the way, this is the syntax to embed our PHP code in our HTML, within our HTML document inside a .php file here. Okay, so even though you write or you don't write all the HTML stuff, okay, all the HTML stuff, but this is very essential. So inside a PHP file to tell the server that whatever the code follows this tags is going to be our PHP code here. Okay, so so let's call a small function which is very universally done whenever you write a first PHP script here, which is known as PHP myinfo here. Okay, so if you call this function here, and if you run your application, a small tiny PHP application here, so if you select the Chrome web browser and if you run it, so you get all the info about the so if you observe in the Chrome, you get all the info about the PHP version which is installed in your web server here. Okay, so web server stack here. Okay, so all the basic information about the installed PHP version here. Okay, so this is the basic stuff about so how to get up and running with PHP. So to summarize, here we have installed a web application stack like known as Xmpp, which consists of all Apache, MySQL, and PHP in one-click installer here. Okay, so unfortunately, if you stop this browser, if you stop this web server, and if you try to run your PHP .php application, so unfortunately it would not run here. Okay, so it says that since the PHP is a server-side scripting language, you need to have your server up and running. So only with the help of this web server environment, you are able to run. Now if you reload your page, so you get the result here. Okay, so server, whenever you're writing a PHP code, it's very essential to make sure that your Apache web server is running, and so that your PHP is processed under the server here. Okay, so also to summarize once again, we have just created a project by file new project here, and we have the Netbeans automatically created an index.php file. So in that we have a small HTML5 template to embed a PHP code within our HTML file and a .php file. We need to use this special tag opening and closing PHP with the angular bracket question mark PHP and angular question mark and closing angular bracket here. So within that we have just called a function which is universally represents the version and details of all the PHP installed in our server here. Okay, so see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Okay.